Well, hello and welcome back to our channel. My name is Maria.
And I'm Leilani.
And I'm Granny Buns.
And this is
While Drinking Wine. Cheers.
So what we're drinking, we decided to have wine spritzers again like we did last week. And what is the base of our wine spritzer? Of course, it's our Sutter Home White Zin. So that's what we're having today.
And what kind of juice did you add with this?
We put sparkling water
sparkling
that has
water.
lime in it.
Oh,
So yeah, it's similar to what we had last week, and so I think it's pretty dang
yeah,
good.
it's really good. It's a little sweet, huh, Granny?
Sweet.
She's not into sweets, but you know.
Well, the
Just
next
one
one we
little
can
sip.
have the plain next. So.
Yeah.
So tell everybody what we're doing today.
Well, as you can tell, Granny Buns is right here in between us. So what does that mean? Story time with Granny Buns. And today she is going to read, because Easter's coming up, how Peter Cottontail got his name. And I just wanted to point out a couple of things. I was looking at this book before we sat down, and I guess when I was little I decided to write on this book. It says Leilani can, and then I was looking at the back and there's all kinds of like
Letters.
Tommy, Mr. Up. I don't know what I was doing, but this book was 39 cents. Can you see that?
Yeah.
It's kind of glared, but
Yeah.
39 cents. So this is an old book. So
Mhm.
Granny's gonna go ahead and read this wonderful story to us.
So here we go.
Okay, today I'm going to read How Peter Cottontail Got His Name by Thornton W. Burgess. Peter Rabbit, I don't see why Mother Nature ever gave me such a common sounding name as that. Some folks say that a name doesn't mean anything, but it does. If I should do some wonderful thing, nobody would even think of it at all, just because. Why? Just because it was done by Peter Rabbit. Peter was talking out loud, but he was talking to himself. He sat in a dear old briar patch with a scowl on his usually happy face. The sun was shining, the merry little breezes of Old Mother West Wind was dancing over the green meadows. The birds were singing, and happiness, the glad, joyous happiness of springtime, was everywhere but in Peter Rabbit's heart. Well, what are you going to do about it? Asked the voice suddenly. It made Peter Rabbit jump and turn around hastily. There was Jimmy Skunk, poking his head in at the opening of one of Peter's private little paths. He was grinning, and Peter knew by his grin that Jimmy had heard what he had said. Peter didn't know what to say. He hung his head in a very shamefaced way. If you don't like your name, why don't you change it? Said Jimmy. Peter sat up and frowned. A frown left his face. I hadn't thought of that, he said slowly. Do you suppose I could, Jimmy Skunk? Easily thing in the world, replied Jimmy Skunk. Just decide what name you like, and then ask all your friends to call you by it. I believe I will, cried Peter Rabbit. Well, let me know. What is it when you have decided? Said Jimmy as he started for home. But when Peter Rabbit tried to think of a better one, he found that no other name could think of really pleased him. The more he thought, the sadder he became. I think I need a drink. All right. Well, Jimmy Skunk was the only one to whom Peter Rabbit had told how unhappy he was about his name. And it was Jimmy who had suggested that he change it. Jimmy thought it was a great joke. He passed the word along all the little meadow and the forest people. that Peter Rabbit was going to change his name. His name, everybody laughed and chuckled over the thought of Peter Rabbit, foolishness, and they planned to have a great deal of fun with Peter as soon as he should tell them his new name. Peter was sitting on the old briar patch one morning when old Mr. Buzzard passed, flying low. "Good morning, Briar Cottontail," said Mr. Buzzard with a twinkle in his eye. At first, Peter didn't understand that old Mr. Buzzard was speaking to him, and by the time he did, it was too late to reply, for old Mr. Buzzard was way, way up in the blue, blue sky. "Cottontail, Cottontail," said Peter over and over to himself. He began to smile every time he said it. He liked it better. Cottontail. Peter Cottontail. How much better sounding that is than Peter Rabbit. That sounds as if it really were somebody. Yes, sir, that's the very name I want. Now I must send the word to all my friends that I'm no longer Peter Rabbit, but Peter Cottontail. I think I need one more drink. All right. Peter kicked up his heels in just a funny way he always did when he was pleased. Suddenly he remembered that such a fine, long, high-sounding name as Peter Cottontail called for more fitting conduct. So he stopped kicking up his heels and began to practice fancy manners. But first he called to the Merry Little Breezes and told them that in the future he would not answer to the name Peter Rabbit, but only to the name of Peter Cottontail. He was very grave and earnest and important as he explained it to the Merry Little Breezes. The Merry Little Breezes kept their face straight while he was talking, but as soon as he left to carry the message, they burst out laughing. It was such a joke. And they giggled as they delivered this message to each of the little forest and meadow people. Peter Rabbit changed his name in the future without fail. You must call him, if you please, Mr. Peter Cottontail. And while they were doing this, Peter was back in the old briar patch practicing his new manners. He would have to try to look very high and mighty and important to match such the fine sounding name as Peter Cottontail. The end.
Well, that was fun.
It was. I really enjoy when you read. It's so much fun. So yeah, I had no idea that's how Peter Cottontail got his name from Mr. Buzzard.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I think it's so funny how Granny was able to read that last page with her, like, keeping her face straight and, like, reading it. Because look at, this is one of my drawings.
The art projects, yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So tell everybody what we're drinking again.
So we're drinking the Sutter Home White Zinfandel. We did add a little spritzer to it. It got a little too sweet, so we took the spritzer out. And so we're just drinking this by itself. And this has the really cute Hope cork that we talked about before a few weeks ago.
That's right.
So.
That's right. Yeah. So we hope that you will come and join us again one day and read a different story. Maybe Cindy would be a really good story to read. So we'll try to schedule that maybe in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So that would be fun to do that. So
all right.
So if you like these type of videos, please consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you for the new subscribers. We really appreciate you and everybody that's subscribed to our channel. And give us a thumbs up, because when you give us a thumbs up, it tells us that you really do like these things. And also hit that little bell button to be notified every single time that we upload. And check us out where?
On Instagram at while_drinking_wine.
And again, getting more and more subscribers there. We got a doctor that subscribed there.
Nice.
So yeah, that's really, really nice. So cool, yeah. So with that,
Until next time.
until next time,
Cheers.
cheers.